Hello all, this is the Owl, and today, at long last, we're getting close to the end of Binary Star Falling into Darkness. What a long, strange ride it's been over the past... wait, how long? 4 months? Bloody hell. I must say, I've had well, fun is maybe the wrong word, because this game is as janky and painful as trying to shoot pool with your pecker, but you do seem to have enjoyed watching me suffer, and once we're done with this one, I've actually got something else planned for next year in terms of gaming videos to break up the manga stuff. It's my favorite horror game of all time, and one that people seem to have forgotten about over the years. But that is then, and this is now. And headed down into the eggshell blue darkness of Layer 4, where we ran into Riko and helped her with her poop problems. Oh, Tsukushi, I'm surprised you haven't released a perfume based on Riko's butt. Stop looking at me like that. It's not too far removed from Faputa's egg hole, but back to the game. We then did an incredibly annoying sequence where we had to hold off a small army of elite horn criers while Reg woke up. After that, I should have headed back to Orth, but instead I was a complete banana and decided to explore Layer 4, which turned out to be a massive waste of time as well as resources. Although I did end up with more relics than Lara Croft's. Yeah, I got nothing. And after figuring out that those 2 hours would have been better picking lint out of my navel, or maybe banging my head against Ozen, I called it a day. Today, we'll finally be seeing the back of Layer 4, as well as taking care of some unfinished business. With that... Starting out from the very bottom of Layer 4, I begin making my way back up. Fortunately, Layer 4 is actually rather easy to navigate. Find the Eternal Fortunes, find the Great Vine Bridge, and then head back to the Goblets of Giants. That said, like most places in this game, it's way easier to proceed through, which tends to be a lot of going down, and a bit of a pain to head back through, which in turn is usually a lot of up, which of course naturally means that you're going to be spending a lot of time sitting with thumb up bum waiting for the curse to run out. What do you millennials do when you're killing time and don't have your phones on you? Hang on, let me ask the internet. Have a crafty... whoops, no, can't see that on YouTube. Anyways, I make my way back to the Great Vine Bridge. Yes, there's actually a quicker route, but this is fine, and we head up through the Goblets of Giants. The scaled umbrella is really handy for taking out light enemies, which in turn also helps keep me well fed. Eventually, after a lot of stop-start waiting around the jump leaves, I re-enter Layer 3. Ugh. It's time to face the music. And by music, of course, I mean those sodding ass bucket douche nozzle Madoka Jacks. Ugh. Only... uh-oh. I have completely forgotten where the hell I am supposed to go. How do I get up through the mines again? Quadruple pit into... no. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. Bollocks, now what? I head back through the mines, decide to try going the other way through the Crimson Split-Jaw chamber, and this is where something interesting happens. I immediately recognize the room with the bouncy leaves. Yes, but I also remember heading upwards, and, then what? So up I climb, and once again, I get completely lost before I stumble onto a smashy wall. And on the other side is, ooh, free stuff. But wait, what's that little shallow pit doing? I've never been down there before. Sure enough, another smashy wall, and I exit out onto the vault with no Madoka Jacks in sight. Ah, piss off, you moth. And then I see it. It can't be. That's the little cave mouth that leads to the hexagon pillars. No way. So you can bypass the entirety of Madoka Jack Hell pretty damn easily, actually, by climbing up through the bounce room. What? You know, this would have been fantastic information a few weeks ago. This bloody game, man. Before I know it, I'm in the tortoise chamber. I head back through the cold heat layer to the updraft wastelands and fast travel back to Orth. Well, now I know, I guess, if I ever decide to do a replay. No. As I suspected, back in Orth, I get the breadcrumb quest for the next boss fight, as well as, yay, my Black Whistle promotion. Just think, if I hadn't been thinking with my right butt cheek last time, I would have been here ages ago. Yeah, that one's on me. I sell off my massive stack of relics. I'm actually pretty flush right now. When I get Black Whistle, I am going to buy everything. But for now, I purchased the essentials, food, ammo, rope, especially ammo, as this seems to be the best way to handle boss fights. And I then prepare myself for, hopefully, my last ever slog down through layer 3. Only, I can now fast travel down to layer 4. Halle frigging Luya. Yes, this bit was actually supposed to have Ode to Joy over it, but for some reason we're now claiming classical songs. Never change, YouTube. By which I mean, please change. As I enter layer 4, I head over to the water slide and realize too late that some absolute bastard has stolen it. Bondrude? Well, that's probably the most embarrassing death of the run. I opt to take the quicker route down, via Nanachi's house, which, yes, I should have taken on my way back. As I go, I collect relics, and sure enough, Nanachi has a side quest for me. Hahaha, nope. Don't worry, Bunnykins. Rico and Reg will be along shortly, and they'll actually teach you how to cook. You wouldn't want to eat that other stuff anyway, trust me. After a bit, I end up at the Crystal Caves, where I spend a bit of time filling up on relics, while avoiding apparently all the stingers in the known universe. I eat, then I use a floating block to get me to the Eternal Fortunes. Don't even think about it, you annoying from a Buick 8 bird thing. And from the Eternal Fortunes, I re-enter the deep tree remains once again. Making my way along, dodging horn criers, I see something big. Oh bollocks. That's an orb piercer. Don't worry, this one isn't anywhere where it'll be annoying. Just avoid it. But don't get used to that. And, sadly, while I was scripting this, I realized that a bit of footage turned out corrupted, showing me going back through the Goblets of Giants later on and having some major problems with an orb piercer blocking my way. Just try to imagine it. I died about 8 times. But for the time being, we've got a boss fight to humiliate. I can see the whistle icon on the minimap. I climb down the hidden path near the Python point. I bash a lurking stinger with my umbrella, equip the fancy pistol I got in the Crystal Caves, and then I prepare for battle. This guy has one hell of an entrance, with what I think is supposed to be a miniature version of Rig's incinerator. He actually has a really cool aesthetic, and what's that? You're surrounding yourself with fire? Haha, I'm over here shooting you in the face. Oh, you're doing the fire again. Well, haha, oh, laser. I'm dead. Yep, that was humiliating. But seriously, this dude is another disappointingly easy boss fight, especially once you find the trick, which I discovered on my second try. This dude does not move. Instead, he will periodically open up his head, start to vent flames, and then fire a massive and pretty much lethal beam around. If he's facing straight ahead, he'll just shoot straight, and if he's facing to either side, he'll sweep that area for a while. Don't get hit. Fortunately, there is a blind spot on either side of him, where you can basically sit and be invulnerable. In close, he's a bit more of a threat. Every so often, he will send out a pulse of fire that comes out really fast and hurts rather a lot. Probably because I'm still using crappy blue whistle armor. But me getting hit with this is my own damn fault, as I switched picks to avoid breaking my fancy new pistols. He does actually have a good amount of HP, but just keep chipping away at him and you'll be good. Eventually, he bites the dust and gives us a really anime explosion, after which I decide to go back to Earth and finally get my black whistle. So, oh joy, we get to do that one last time. You know what? Before I go back through Layer 3 again, I need a short break.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
At long last, we get promoted to Black Whistle, assigned some new skills, and I made kind of a big mistake here, but we'll get to that in a bit. Let's just say I went all in on weapons and carry weight, but I should have read some of the other skills a bit more, in particular, one related to dodging. This will come back and bite me right in my feathery little ass in just a moment. We also get a bit more stuff about Recor, pick up some new side quests, and... now what? I can't put out a video less than 20 minutes long. What is this, June? I've got to justify those Patreon bucks somehow. But I really don't fancy starting Layer 5 right now. I'm actually rather bushed after spending way too much of my recent life schlepping up through Layers 3 and 4. So, what to do? Tumpty tumpty tumpty. Oh right, I suppose that before we make a beeline for Layer 5 and what, or rather who, I'm sure will be waiting there for us, we should really tie up some loose ends. One loose end, to be specific. One big, massively overpowered, elderly loose end that somehow generates a lot of very odd art online. Fine, let's make it happen. It's time for Ozen the Immovable to get herself a worthy challenge. But this time, I am going in prepared. We're gonna take some precautions here. Bandages, meals, some black whistle armor. Yeah, I gotta go with the feathers. I think it would be illegal not to do this with a character named Fukuro. And I also buy approximately all the guns and ammo in the world. Spoiler, I should have spent some time grinding on Layer 4 and bought about double what I did. Once I'm satisfactorily prepared to the best of my abilities, bugger, I strike out. Layer 2. Ah man, it's been a while. It's still got some annoying portions, like the nope tree and the arch-vile plants, but compared to Layer 3, this is a breath of fresh air. Before too long, I am back at the Seeker Camp, where I turn in a side quest that I didn't even know I had, but okay, and I go and challenge Ozen. Don't you snark at me, lady, it's time that we settle this. Once and for all. After some cinematics, we square off in the old rocky arena. I won't lie, I went in expecting to, quite frankly, bulldoze her, and okay. She was basically impossible at Moon Whistle, and yes, I'm sure some absolute bastard is about to chime in the comments about how they beat her with their feet on a Guitar Hero controller or something, but nah, I'm bad at video games, and at Black Whistle, she's still really, really difficult. I'd actually go on record as saying one of the most difficult bosses I've faced in a single-player game. Yes, including Soulsborne's. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that she's mechanically difficult. It's more that she has more HP than Jesus. Also, there is a frustrating luck factor to this fight, as there really aren't many openings to safely engage her at melee. At least I can survive her rare toss or a hit from her rocks now, but only one. And it's not quite the boon it sounds like, as healing is another annoyance, which can also feel a bit RNG. Even if you do it right after avoiding her attacks, she'll sometimes just say screw you and then dash in or lamp you with a rock before you finish the animation. Another skill I really should have picked up is faster healing. Ah well, everything's 2020 in hindsight. So, for those of you that just got here, a refresher course on Ozen. 3 attacks, or I guess 4 if you want to be pedantic. All of them really hurt, but not a one-shot anymore, fortunately. Firstly, she'll hock a rock at you. This is easy to dodge. As long as you're moving laterally, it won't hit you. Grabbing you and then throwing you into the air to get cursed, not so easy. It comes out really fast and has a slightly longer reach than her model would suggest, but the big smelly threat, and the one that made this fight a real chore, is her rock shotgun, where she'll stomp, then pick up a rock, crush it, and fling it at you. Dodging this thing can occasionally feel a bit more like luck than skill. If you dodge away, you will get hit. If you dodge in towards it but away from her, you can usually avoid it. The problem is that in a fight as ass-numbingly long as this one, usually doesn't cut it. And far too often, I'd be making good progress on her before I got snagged by the shotgun that I swear I avoided. Then she'd follow it up with a dash and grab me, killing me. Oh right, the dash. At long range, she'll do a dash to get in close, and then immediately try to grab you. This will be one of your few openings to attack. Wait for her to grab, dodge the grab, then hit her twice. She'll always dash after a boulder toss, and will sometimes dash after her shotgun. Generally, long range is where you want to be, as Ozen is, predictably, something special in close. On one hand, if you're willing to be a bit risky, you can bait out additional grabs by running in and running away, which gives you more openings to attack. But on the other hand, and what makes being in close to her so hairy, is that sometimes she'll do a stomp in order to pull a rock out, which is a death sentence, as she'll inevitably follow up with the rock, and if you survive that, probably grab you. Just stay far away. I start by dumping 60 explosive rounds, the fancy new black whistle ammo, into her. It looks awesome, and it does pretty nice damage, but the problem is that the sheer size of the explosion makes it a bit difficult to see anything, which against her is a bit scary. Then I throw 20 electric rounds at her, which, all told, takes about as long as an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then, I am momentarily distracted by Mrs. Owl laughing at a YouTube video, and she grabs me and kills me. And that was my best attempt of the morning. Ah! But you are not going to beat me, game. I continue plugging away. Again, she's not too bad at range. Annoying bullshitty shotgun throw accepted, but once my ammo is depleted, she becomes a pain in the ass. Remember, 2 melee strikes and get out of there, because she will grab you if you try for a third, which in turn means that you'll need to eat, which gives her room to grab you again, which means you'll need to eat again, and on the cock-up cascade continues. Always remember, this game buffers your commands, so make sure you only hit that flappy DualShock trigger twice. This is also where I realized that I had kind of pooped the sheets somewhat, as there is a black whistle skill that allows you to cancel out from pick attacks and roll. Why didn't I see that before doing this stupid fight? Regardless, another 2 or 3 hours and I'm getting her rhythm down. Starting to get her to sub 50% HP, then 1/3 HP, then 1/4 HP fairly reliably. However, what will inevitably happen is that I'll get unlucky just once I hit the melee phase. Seriously, if you're going to attempt her, bring 200 or 300 bullets and maybe 15 guns or so. Do not try and fight her in melee. I'll either get snagged by the shotgun, her stomp, or I'll accidentally do a third attack thanks to me having massive Mario hands, generally resulting in a grab, and then we get to play the trying to eat without getting a boulder right up the gravy trumpet stage of the fight. which is worth avoiding. But closer and closer, and at last, the stars align. Wah! Surprise QTE, which for once I don't screw up, and Ozen finally admits defeat.
あんまり無理をさせるんじゃない。いつの間に君ぐらい世の中。
オーゼン。
ああ、お腹が空いて。
はい、お師様。
肉が。
はい、お師様。
それから。
Let's never ever do that again. The loot we get for doing this is actually pretty cool, and also bends the canon of this game over a pinball table. We get Ozen's hat, Ozen's white whistle, what? As well as a 1,000-man wedge, which fans of the manga will recognize as the source of Ozen's bizarre strength. The hat is very tanky, but it weighs approximately as much as a small cow, and it looks just really silly. I am astonished that you can even move in this thing. The wind resistance must be bonkers. Ozen's white whistle gives us a bunch of bonus HP, which sounds nice but actually kind of sucks. It just means that you'll need more healing items. Anything that can do serious damage to you outside of a boss fight probably means that you got into a fight that you shouldn't have. And the 1,000-man wedge, I have no idea what this thing does, but after a quick Google search, it apparently gives you a decent wodge of bonus damage. That's always nice. More damage means that stuff dies faster, which in turn means that you don't need to spend quite as much durability killing stuff, and it also makes the umbrella better. So, I head back to Orth, utterly exhausted. This entire endeavor cost us more than half of our gold in ammo, food, and bandages alone. But at least she is down, and I can make my way to layer 5, and I assume the end of this sodding game. So, what's layer 5 like? Did they capture the glorious eeriness of the snowy, crystalline wasteland? Or is this going to be as janky as layers 2 and 3? Are we going to meet you-know-who? And was he the creepy voice manipulating Tiare? Oh, and whatever happened to Tiare, who the story seems to have completely forgotten about? For that, you'll have to wait until next time. Don't worry, it won't be too long. As always, before we finish for the day, I want to give a huge thanks to my fantastic patrons: Astrixit Gaming, Cheerful Satanist, Starwin Marwin, High Lord J, Jacob Ramsey, Crazy, Kel Core, Lance Goebel, Paul Norberger, Piece of Yeast, Rafferty, Robert Dote, and XTC Pill. If you want to hear me say your name and, help Mrs. Owl and I out and ensure that I can keep doing what I do into 2021. Wait, 2022? What the hell year is it? Oh right, 2023. Yeah, sorry, I've got Ozen brain right now. Why not check out our Patreon? You'll also get some fun perks on the Discord and early access to most of my videos. If you want to see more like this, why not stick around? Subscribe, bell, you know what to do. Discord, Patreon, etc. are all in the description. Take care, my friends, and cheers. This is the Owl, signing off.